Hi everyone, and welcome to our first week of vocabulary. Every week I'm going to make sure I have one of these videos available for you. This is going to be especially useful to show your parents when they say, "What are your root words this week?" or to use to catch up when you've missed a day of school. These are going to always be posted on our school website, on our Power School Learning page. Anytime you need to find it, that's where you're going to have to go, all right? It's also available on my YouTube channel, teachereberle@gmail.com. There are lots of ways to go ahead and access this information. Now this week I'm going to go a little bit slower than I normally will. I'm going to have a little bit more detail than normal, just so that you have an opportunity to kind of get in the right frame of mind and make sure you're doing everything you're supposed to do. Now every week we will have 5 new root words. I always start off with them just listed out on the very first slide. So this week we have crone, deck, therm, tract, and uni. We're going to go through each of those root words one at a time, talk through the word, talk through what it means, look at some examples, maybe even look at how it could be used in a sentence, all right? So let's get going. All right, now first up is crone. It means time. Now the first thing you're going to notice when you're looking at this page is that I have several different markings off to the left here. You'll notice that one of them is a dot, one of them is a star, and one of them is marked with an exclamation mark. This is because I try to level the words that I'm giving you as an example, all right? Now, the dot level words tend to be more common. You're more likely to read them, you're more likely to hear them in normal conversation. The star level words are going to be words that, like, yeah, you may hear them, you may run across them. They may be tricky to spell, they may be trickier to remember. Right? The exclamation mark level words tend to be my more kick-butt nerd words. When you're writing your words down in your notebook, you will be told based on your academic level which one you should be shooting for. Okay? Most of you guys should at least be starting off the year in the dot or the star level words. You should not be necessarily worrying about writing down the exclamation mark level words. I'm still going to tell you what they are so that you have an opportunity to be exposed and to learn them, but they're not necessarily going to be the ones that are best for you to study for the quiz on Friday. So, crone means time. Let's start with our dot level word, chronology. All right, now we'll learn later in the year that ology here is the study of. So when we're looking at chronology, it literally means the study of time. For most of you, that means putting things in chronological order, in the order of the date and when they happened. That should be something you're sort of familiar with from coming out of elementary school. The star level word here is synchronize. Sync means same. Right here, that means same. So we have same time. Now you already probably know this word. Your phone synchronizes, your tablet synchronizes. There are lots of different technology words that use this. These are things that are happening at the same time with the same information. The exclamation mark level word back up here is chronic. Chronic means lasting a really long time. Now, most of the time when you hear the word chronic, it's referring to the medical field. You could say that someone has a chronic cough. Over and over again, they keep getting sick, they keep coughing. You might say that they have a chronic infection. They keep getting sick over a long period of time. Now down here at the bottom, you're going to see an example sentence using one of our example words, boom, in a full and complete kick-butt sentence. So we have be sure to include a chronology of Benjamin Franklin's life. Say if you're doing a project and I asked you to tell me what happened in Benjamin Franklin's life, you could be like, Ms. Eberle, that would be a chronology of his life, and I would definitely give you a ticket for being awesome in connecting your words. Our next root word is deck. It means 10, so deck is the root. 10 is the meaning, and our example words are over here. Right now, you may notice that there is no exclamation mark level word listed. That's because actually 2 of them are dash level words or dot level words. It's not a big deal that there's an exclamation mark level word there, right? Remember, those are the highest level words, and you may not always have one. So let's go ahead and get started on these. We have decimal. This should be a word you know from math. Decimal is any system of numbers based on the power of 10. Most of our number system is based on power 10. We live in a world that is functioned on base 10. That's going to be like when you have money and you have 10 cents. There's that little dot. Decimal is everything behind it. A decade, right here, is a period of 10 years. Some of you are just over a decade old. Our star level word here is decagon. A decagon. Now, when I say a plane figure with 10 sides and 10 angles, a cube with 6 sides and 6 angles is a plane figure. So a decagon is one of those with 10 sides. Down here in our example sentence, her grandpa is 59 right now, but he will be 6 decades old on his next birthday. So that you can do the math there is 6 times 10, so he will be 60. Next up we have therm, which means heat. Gosh, we don't need any extra heat this time of year. So we have therm is the root, heat is the definition. These are the example words. Therm meaning heat. You're all familiar with thermometers. Meter actually means to measure. So a thermometer is anything measuring temperature. You're familiar with those. You already know what those are. The star level word, thermos. Now, I know these aren't as common now as they used to be, but when I was in elementary school and middle school and my mom would pack my lunch because she loves me, she would put soup inside of a thermos so that when it was lunchtime at school, my food was still warm. Sometimes you see people putting their coffee in a thermos, especially if they're going camping. They're super nifty for keeping things hot or cold, depending on what you need. The exclamation mark level word up here is hypothermia. Hypothermia is when your body gets so cold that it actually makes you sick. If you get too cold, you can actually pass away and die. Now, hypothermia is often used when talking about people who are mountain climbing or who are exposed to the natural elements and they get really, really cold, and it can be very dangerous. So when you see that word hypothermia, it never means anything good. Down here in our example sentence, look, the person who wrote this sentence has mommy like mine. The thermos kept my soup warm until lunch. Tract, meaning pull. All right, so tract is the root, pull is the definition. Over here are the example words. So, tractor. A tractor is literally just a vehicle that is used to pull stuff. That could be pulling equipment, that could be pulling a trailer, that could be pulling anything. All right, the star level word here is contraction, to shorten a muscle or word. Things like isn't or I'm. Those are going to be contractions, is words. Now you can also have muscle contractions. A lot of times if you go work out really hard but you didn't stretch beforehand, and then your muscles kind of cramp up, those are contractions. The exclamation mark level word over here is retract, to withdraw or pull back. Sometimes you can have like a knife that is retractable. You could have, I have a car key that can retract. So anything that can withdraw or pull back. Down here we have our example sentence. Dad drove the tractor into the field. Very useful thing to have if you live on a farm. All right, last one, we have uni, meaning one. You are, I'm sure, familiar with lots and lots of words that have uni in them. I'm actually going to start at the bottom this time with uniform, especially since the first few weeks of school. We spend so long talking about what do we wear to school, what should we look like when we come to school. Uniform is just the goal where everyone is going to look the same. They're going to look like one entity, one group of people. All right, unicycle, that is a cycle with one wheel. So think about a bicycle has two. A unicycle only has one. They are very challenging to ride. I do not recommend it unless you have a really good sense of balance and awesome knee and shoulder pads. Union, the star level word here. Union, and it's not even that union is necessarily a hard word. It's hard to necessarily connect it to the root word. And sometimes you'll notice that is that you look at a word and you'll be like union, but like it doesn't mean one. It does, and it's a little bit of a reach, but try and follow me here. When you unify something, when you enter into a union with someone, you are becoming of one mind. So a lot of times a marriage is referred to as a union. It is two people coming together to be one married couple, one entity. All right, now down here in the example sentence, you will see I can ride a bicycle, but I am not sure that I can ride a unicycle. So true for my own life. Now, on Friday, you will have a quiz on all of these words. Make sure you pay attention in class because we're going to talk about what will the quiz look like, what do you need to do to study, how do you need to be prepared. If you have any questions or concerns, please see me in class or send me an email, all right? Thanks and have a wonderful week.